You're watching this video to make a decision between Apple AirPod Pro and status audio between 3A and C. I'll be comparing the two pairs based on these categories on the screen, and at the end of the video I'll be giving you my personal final verdict. Before we get started, here is why I count myself eligible to give an opinion on this. I've been working as a music producer and an audio engineer for the past 12 years. I have mixed a lot of tracks for clients and for myself. I've listened to music in mastering rooms that have £50,000 a pair studio monitors. For years I've used different pairs of studio monitors for my work, and when it comes to headphones I've used $300 Pro headphones, $1,500 Pro headphones. However, only a small segment of this video will be dedicated to Pro audio opinion, and the majority will be based on me as an everyday music consumer. Let's get started. The first category is design and build quality. AirPod Pros are slightly lighter than status audio. In terms of design, everybody's familiar with how Apple AirPods look like, and they pretty much stayed the same in looks for years now. Status audio, however, has a rectangular, unique design that some people may appreciate and some may not. I, for example, prefer a design that I don't see every day on 300 other people's ear. But the looks shouldn't be at the top of your list of reasons when buying headphones. The comfort and how they sit in your ear, though, is quite important. Obviously, they both come with different sizes of earpieces, and now I have the AirPod in my left ear and status audio in my right. As I said before, the AirPods are slightly lighter, and when I have them on, I don't feel like my ears are completely blocked. With status audio ones, I feel like right now my right ear is completely blocked and disconnected from the surroundings. I feel like it takes a lot more space in my ear compared to the AirPods that sits on the bottom half of your ears. Based on how my ears are feeling in this particular moment, I think that AirPods can be worn for longer. Next, we move on to what I consider the most important factor, sound quality. I'll be listening to 3 songs from 3 different genres that I consider to be well mixed and I know them well, and also 1 song that I produced, mixed and mastered, so I know exactly how it should sound, come back and give you my verdict on sound quality.
2,000 years later.
Okay, I just listened to 4 songs and I'm a little bit surprised. I expected it to be a lot tougher for me to give a verdict on sound quality. But I have to say that in terms of stereo imaging, in terms of the frequency response and the balance between treble, mid and bass, I preferred the status audio one for all 4 genres and 4 songs that I listened to. Here are some more technical reasons why. Firstly, the status audio sounds a bit closer to your ear and to yourself when you listen to music, whereas with the AirPod Pro I feel like it's a little bit further back, and that could be because the status audio pair goes more inside your ear, whereas the AirPods kind of stay out, and we mentioned that before. Apart from that, the unique selling point of status audio's adverts for this pair is that it has a dedicated sub speaker, a dedicated mid and a dedicated treble, which basically means that it has 3 different speakers compared to 1 that AirPods have. And well, I can hear that clearly, especially when it comes to bass and sub. Now, truth be told, as someone who cares about the balance of frequency spectrum and what I'm hearing, because I reference my music and my mixes through these sometimes, it almost has a little bit too much bass. But that's something that I can easily fix using their app by just bringing down the equalizer on the frequency range that I think is too much, which is 50 Hz. And this is gonna go a little bit to the next bullet point, but when it comes to Apple AirPods, you don't have that dedicated app. We'll leave it right here and come back to it when it comes to the next bullet point. Another important thing when it comes to sound quality is the stereo imaging. Stereo imaging, to be honest, is very close, but if I have to give an edge to one, I will still give it to status audio. Now, just to clarify, when I was listening to the songs, I started with status audio, changed to the AirPods, but for the second song, I stayed on the AirPods first, then moved back to status audio and carried on that way. So it wasn't like I'm hearing a song first, my ears get used to that, and then I change and be like, whoa, it's so different, so bad. I actually listened to my own song, which was an important part of my judgment, through AirPods first, then changed to status audio, and it was so much closer to what I was hearing when I was mixing the track through studio monitors and through my main headphones. Moving on to the next bullet point, which is features. Apple AirPods are obviously made and tailored for iPhone users. When it comes to the features of AirPods Pro and the control that you have using your iPhone on it, I'll put a screen recording on the screen while I'm talking so you can see what kind of settings you have. But that's about it. You don't have any dedicated app where you can EQ and build custom presets, stuff like that. There is, however, a setting called headphone accommodation inside accessibility section of iPhone settings that gives you a couple or maybe 3 different presets that you can change to, but none of them actually sounded better than the original preset. On the other hand, status audio between 3A and C comes with a dedicated app where you can build your own custom presets or pick one of the 4, I believe, presets that comes with the headphone itself. Inside the app you have some other controls for noise cancellation and picking what the touch does. Speaking of touch, they both do similar things. For example, status audio, if you hold on either side, one side goes down in volume and one side goes up. If you touch once on either side, the song stops, you touch again, it starts. For answering phone calls, I believe is 2 touches, and for hanging up is the same. For AirPods, when you take one out, the song stops, and when you put it back in, I thought that it's gonna start, but it didn't. That could be me being inexperienced on how to use this, or maybe it doesn't have the feature. I also tried holding on both sides and see if the volume goes up or down. It doesn't, but I know that if you double tap, it will answer the phone call, and if you double tap again, it will hang up. I need to correct myself on one thing that I said previously in the video before moving on to the microphone quality. When I was talking about the design and build quality, I had the original earpieces that came with status audio, and then I thought maybe changing to the smallest one will make it more comfortable for my ears and lighter. And it did. I actually changed it to the smallest one before starting my listening session, and it felt quite comfortable and better. I'm not saying that it became better than the AirPods all of a sudden, but it felt a lot more comfortable and comparable in terms of how they sit at the same time if you put one of this and one of that in your ear. Noise cancellation on both was pretty good, no problems with that. Another important criteria is the microphone quality, and the way I'm gonna judge that is by leaving a voice note to myself on Telegram, play it back for you guys, and you can be the judge of that for yourself. Hey, are we still on for the dinner on Saturday night this weekend? Hey, are we still on for the dinner on Saturday night this weekend? The playback results through a voice note was very similar, if not the same. One personal experience that I had this morning, actually, with my mother on a phone call, I stuck these on in the middle of our phone call and I asked my mother, how's my voice? And she was like, it's actually louder and it sounds pretty good. I'm gonna call her right now with the AirPods and come back with the result. Okay, so I just came off the phone call. I stuck in the AirPods in first, asked my mother how it sounds, and she said it sounds like you're speaking normally on your phone. And then I swapped over to status audio. I asked the same question and she said it's gotten louder and it sounds more upfront. And she actually asked which one was which after, and I said that when I first called it was the AirPods, and she said I checked if my volume was high enough, and it was, but when you changed to the other headphones, it's gotten louder and everything was more clear, as if you were speaking to my face, which is a good sign for status audio again in this department. Moving on to battery life. Giving a verdict on this in an honest way is almost impossible for me because I know that it depends on a few factors. For example, every chargeable device, from your phone to camera to earphones, anything that's chargeable, after a while it starts decreasing in life and it goes down much faster. But at the start, they're all pretty good usually. And the second important factor for earphones is how loud you push them during your listening sessions. Obviously, the louder you push them, the more power it needs to generate and the faster it drains your battery. So far though, from the experience that I had with status audio and the experiences I heard from my friends that they had with AirPods, they're both pretty good and acceptable. So I'm just gonna say that this is a tie. Next up is connectivity. This is where Apple AirPods are tailor-made for iPhone and they connect pretty fast to iPhones. And status audio, just as fast, connected to my iPhone, and now that I've been swapping them left and right quickly for the video, they're both okay. disconnect and connect quite fast without any issues. I don't have an Android phone with me right now to check how the AirPods react to Android phones and what's the situation there, but I believe that it will not be as easy. It never is when it comes to Apple products being compatible with other companies. Price to performance ratio. They're both roughly the same price depending on if one of them is in offer somewhere or not. Their original market price is pretty much the same, and in their price range they're both at the top of the list, maybe including some Bose and Sennheiser earphones somewhere up there. We're almost done. Everyday usability. So the cases are both pretty cool and easy to use. Status Audio one opens up like that, closes up easily. Apple EarPods, just the same. They weigh the same. This one actually has a special case on it that my friend bought. This is the original case for the Status Audio, but they weigh almost the same. USB-C to the back, USB-C to the bottom. They both have a button on them for connectivity, so no issues or advantages to either one when it comes to everyday usability. And finally, comparison summary and overall pros and cons. Some things will be quickly mentioned again in this category, so bear with me. The main pro of Status Audio is having a dedicated app for both Android and iPhone. Another pro is that it has a dedicated sub speaker, which makes it feel like you're listening to music in your car through your subwoofer. And obviously you can reduce or increase that if you're really a bass junkie. I wouldn't increase it, but it's good to have that feature. Another pro was the microphone for Status Audio that had a slight advantage. I cannot think of a con so far that I've picked up from Status Audio compared to AirPod Pros or the pair that I had before, which was much cheaper. Apple EarPods are more tailor-made for iPhone users and MacBook users, and I have no idea how they're gonna respond on Android phones. That's something that you can probably just search in Google and you will have a lot of people sharing their experience, but I'm not gonna put it under con. What I'm gonna put under con though for AirPods is not having a dedicated app for both either iPhone or Android. I think EQing your headphone is something that each headphone in this price range or even lower should have by now. It's a basic feature. The reason I say the EQ feature is very important and quite basic is because let's say one day you want to use your earphones to listen to music in the gym and you want to be hyped, you want that bass, and maybe at night you want to listen to an audiobook that doesn't need any bass and it just needs a clear voice that doesn't hurt your ears or doesn't distract you from what you're trying to focus on, stuff like that. And having an EQ preset ready that you can just go in the app and touch podcast preset, gym hype preset, that's just a great feature to have. Now for my final verdict, drumroll please. If I have to pick between only one and buy either one of these, no other option available, I will go for Status Audio, because even if I change my phone from an iPhone that I have right now to an Android, I don't have to be worried, and I have the features that I had on my iPhone. And because of that great sounding sub that can be controlled using the EQ. So Status Audio takes it from me personally. I hope that you found this video helpful and it helped you make a decision if you're about to make a decision between these two. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.